Doing well, boss. Doing well. How are you?
Hey man, I'm doing good. I'm excited. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. A lot of people are like, "Hey man, Tally, you should really do a podcast." And it's been something that I've kind of thought about doing for quite some time now. And I was on a walk yesterday, and I just was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm just going
Time
to
to
do it.
go
I'm going to
for it.
jump out there and just get it done and put myself out there a little bit more and try to add as much value to the life of others as we possibly can here. And through folks like you and other everyday average American great people, we could certainly do that. And that's the goal and the mission of this podcast. And again, thank you for being my very first guest
No problem.
on
Thanks for
this.
having me.
And yeah, maybe next time or 10, 20 down the road or whatever, I'll be able to have a real live little podcast show and all that stuff. But for now, let's just get started in on who you are. And I know you're a former Marine, and you're big in family and entrepreneurship. And
Yes, sir.
you also had a near fatal accident. And, if you wouldn't mind, let's dig into who Brandon is.
Sure. So the answer I've come to give with that question is man, husband, father, entrepreneur, trying to be better at all those things. As you said, former Marine. I was in 96, 2000. Machine gunner was my primary. I served with Fast Company, the anti-terrorism group, went to the Middle East with them. When I got out, I found working in the fitness industry pretty quickly. I've been doing that now for over 20 years. And met my wife. We got married in 2011, but we've been together longer than that. I met her in 2002 or 2003, somewhere in there. She's been involved in the salon and beauty industry as long as I've been in health and fitness. And as I was progressing through my fitness career, we noticed a hole in the market. This is to how our company came to be. And we launched our first product, Hair XT, which is a hair growth vitamin. I won't bore you with the details, but there were some that have been out there for decades, and then suddenly they were gone. So that's when I say we identified a hole in the market. So we launched Hair XT, which was the first American hair growth vitamin. We launched that in 2011. And for those of you who are in Texas, it's available in HEB's beauty department. We've also launched a hair serum. So our Hair XT hair growth vitamin and serum are both in there. I've been using it for years, since my hair started thinning. So I am a walking billboard for the fact that it works. It's 100% natural, drug-free. It's none of that stuff. And that business has been doing great. And I wanted to get into launching a sports supplement line for years. I had this idea for the I Am Supplement brand back in 2015. And I mean, you know how it is with, people telling you to do the podcast. You have something you want to work on, but then, other things are going. So it kept getting pushed back to the back burner. And then in 2017, I hired an artist to launch it, to do the logo. And it was 2 or 3 days later, I had an accident. I was loading my dog into my Jeep, walking around the back of the Jeep, getting ready to take her to the vet. And some kid came along. He was high off his ass driving his dad's truck and hit me, pinned me between the front of his truck and the back of my Jeep. Yeah, man. And that set things back a bit.
So you were just getting ready to kick off I Am Suffs, right? Your supplement brand and your supplement company, and everything's going great. You're you're living the American dream. You got a beautiful family. You got your hair products in HEB. You're doing everything the right way, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, here comes an intoxicated driver, and he's got you pinned in between two vehicles. What was life like during that moment of impact, and what did that moment do ultimately for Brandon to create the man you are today?
Well, it's we didn't have kids at that time. We were just getting ready. We were just starting that journey, and looking to have kids. It solidified the fact that I wanted to be a dad for sure. Because a little bit into the detail of the accident. Like I said, I was walking around the back of my Jeep. I had this old Wrangler, which I've since gotten rid of since having kids. Not exactly the best family vehicle, but those old style Wranglers that they got the big tire in the back, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it was standard. I didn't do a lot of modifications to it. I like the old the old stock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm walking around the back, and I had just cleared the tire when the guy hit me, right? So I was literally one step ahead of death, because if I had been one step back, my rib cage would have lined up with that tire and I would have been crushed, right? And there's
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
very little chance I would have survived that. So I got hit, spun around, and my right leg basically disappeared in between the truck and my Jeep. And the day before that, I was doing some heavy squats, 405 for 4 or 5 singles that day. Then the day that was November 19th, I was squatting. November 20th, I got hit. November 21st, my workout was taking 10 steps with a walker. And there was this point where the doctor in charge came in, and she was saying, Mr. Mancini, the fact that you have this history with exercise and strength training is the reason you still have your leg. Because when they brought me in, they called my wife and they told her my leg and my hip were broken, right? But when they x-rayed, there were no breaks, just 3 severe bone bruises. And I still have the rear bumper from that Jeep. It's got my leg print in it. And
Unreal.
so they said, the fact that you have that strength training history is the reason you still have your leg. It didn't break, right? And the reason you fared this accident so well. But she said, you need to understand those days of strength training are behind you. And I looked at her and I said, who's in charge of my care? And at this point, I could see by the look on her face, it wasn't my intention, but she thought I was asking, where's the man in charge? And she goes, well, Mr. Mancini, I'm in charge of your care. Are you okay with that? I said, no, you're not. Who's in charge of my care? She said, I told you I am. I said, no, you're not. I'm in charge of my care. You are an advisor. I will get back to strength training like that again. And, she, okay. I admire the spirit. And, then she left. And I had some doctors that were supporting me in that, but there were plenty who were like, no, you need to understand those days are over. Point with that is, it took me 16 months to get back to squatting 405. And, I share that video occasionally because I hit it and then I flipped out. I yelled F you at the bar, and I think I scared the crap out of my neighbors because I work out in my garage here. But it was, yeah, man, it was a great moment. So
was there any accountability at all for this kid that hit you and nearly killed you? I mean, what happened to the kid?
So that's an interesting side of the story that I would like to share more, because he didn't have any insurance. The insurance had lapsed on his dad's truck 2 days prior, so there was nothing. He was, in and out of rehab, had some attempted assault charges on his record, stuff like that. And when we were going into court and I was working with the DA, we're in front of the judge, and he's like, okay, this judge is really strict on cases like this. Basically, it's pretty standard. There was no support for me at all, right? He again, no insurance from him, no insurance in the truck. I basically had to deal with all that, right? And
Mhm.
you know, couldn't work for a couple of months because I couldn't walk. So it was some rough times there. But when it came to him, again, I told you, my wife and I were in this phase where we were looking to start having a family. And they said they were just going to put him in jail for 8 years and whatever. They said, okay, what does that do? It does nothing for me, just to know that he's suffering. And don't get me wrong, there was part of me that was like, yeah, fuck it, throw him away. But then knowing that I'm looking to have kids, a likely outcome is he goes into jail, and 8 years later, comes out a better criminal. And there's this kid who's moving through the world just as a wrecking ball, just screwing up everybody's life he comes into contact with. And you know, when I was younger, that could have been me. So I told the DA, I said, no, let's going in the Marine Corps changed my life. Absolutely was a big part of making me the man I am today. So I told the DA, I said, look, I've had tickets before, right, where they do deferred adjudication. I have to go so long with no tickets and like pass a driving course, something like that. Can we do that for this kid? Can we tell him? Because if you hit someone while you're intoxicated in Texas, not a vehicle, but if you actually hit a person while you're driving intoxicated in Texas, it's considered intent to kill and you become a felon.
Hmm.
So I said, let's give him deferred adjudication on this case. And if he finishes a 4-year enlistment in the Marine Corps, infantry only, he will not be a felon. But he has to do that.
Seriously?
And well, that's what I asked for. And they
No, but
told me
I didn't know that the actual victims have that much say in the
they
court
don't.
of in the court of law to say, "Hey, look,
They don't.
DA, okay, all right."
They don't,
So how
because
did you pull that off?
I asked for that, and they
Okay,
said, well, that's unconstitutional. And
I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I said, okay, I'm not a legal mind, but can someone explain to me how that's unconstitutional? How is it unconstitutional for me to give this kid a second chance to try to prove himself, to prove that he can become a man? And you know, I kept, every time we met, I asked for it, and finally, the DA said, "Look, I think it's admirable what you're asking for, and I will push it as far up as I can. I will continue to ask. You're asking. I will continue to ask first, and we'll go until it gets ultimately shut down." And you know, this was 2017, 2018. I thought
Mhm.
about, you know, tweeting our at the time president and seeing if he would do anything for it. I wish I would have. I didn't. But he, you know, he went to the kid and his lawyer and asked him, and the kid was not interested, and that blew my mind. I couldn't understand how you can tell someone, look, you can go into this, you can go into service and serve something greater than you, or you can be a felon. Which one do you want to choose? And they choose, no, I'll be a felon. So
Huh.
I know, I couldn't understand that. So you know, but at the same time, I still said, just putting him in jail does not, like, it's not, our you know, prison system is not good,
Yeah.
right? So it's not going to make him or the world a better place at all, this world that I'm trying to bring children into.
Hmm.
So I pushed for him to go into an intense rehab, and that's what the judge put some strict guidelines on him and said, okay, the judge first told him, you are incredibly lucky with the guy you chose to hit.
Mm-hmm.
here's what we're doing. They put him in rehab. They put some strict guidelines on him he had to stick to. If not, then he does go to prison. And honestly, I have no idea where I went from that. I washed my hands
Well,
of it.
at
I'm moving
least
on.
you did your part as an honorable man to give this kid an opportunity to, like, like you said, to do something bigger and than himself, to serve for the greater good of the country, as well as punishment, if you will. But guys like you and I didn't serve for punishment. We serve for the good of the country, to protect our country, and to give everybody that's living in it the peace and the freedom, why everybody sleeps at night.
Yes, sir.
So you've had this story, that's incredible, a remarkable journey, to say the least, to go from living the American dream to walking 10 steps on a walker to, to squatting 405 pounds again, very, very shortly thereafter. You've got several different lines of entrepreneurship. I'm even a customer. You reached out to me. Folks, this is how I got to meet Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. No, I'm joking. He's got a very popular name.
I do.
So I met Brandon several years ago. I think he saw or heard my story, or somebody, could be from Youngstown, where I was born. Do you have some Youngstown roots?
So originally I'm from Pittsburgh, but I trained a couple when I lived in D.C., the Amy's.
Right.
I believe you know them.
Yeah. It's my aunt and uncle. Okay. So they turned me on to you, or you on to me, or whatever it was, when I was going through all my tally bill stuff and fighting Congress and the VA, and we became good friends. And then one day, out of nowhere, this guy says, "Give me your address. I've been following your story." He sends me some supplements. He sends me some collagen and some other things. And, it was at that point that I started to take it. And, I really did start to see some good changes, I think, in my body with the collagen, and I've been taking it ever since. So,
Yes, sir.
so it was cool that I put this out there. Hey, look, I'm doing a podcast, and all of a sudden Brandon pops up. He's like, "Hey, I want to be on." And, and we've already got this, good, friendship here. And, and so I'm a testament to your products. I know they work, and I know they are good, quality products. Do you have any goals? What's next for I Am Subs? On getting all your, your supplements out there to, like, say, an HEB or a GNC or something like that?
So I'm going to keep I Am Subs online. It's the best way to serve the current customers that I have. Hair XT is like I said, doing great. We've been in HEB with them since 2013. It's been growing every year. We just partnered with Rite Aid with Hair XT. With that product line, it's better suited for in stores. My training business, Brandon Mancine Fitness, BMF Coaching. I'm looking to expand and grow that. I've been a personal trainer, like I said, for 20 plus years now. Obviously, the last 2.5 years, it changed. A lot of my business has gone online. I'm working on an ebook. I'm doing a lot more virtual coaching, stuff like that. My main thing, man, I want to bring products and knowledge to people to help them improve their lives, for people to truly understand, like, your health and fitness, your wellness is in your hands, right? So that
Absolutely.
back to that story of me with the doctor. It's, a lot of times, unfortunately, and this is not all, I know some great doctors, the doctors can get a God complex, and they put that on, I'm in charge of your care. You must do what I say. Doctors are consultants, right? They are resources.
They are practicing.
Right. And, I read this stat the other day that 27% of the American population is completely sedentary, meaning outside of the walk to the car,
Yep.
from their house to the car to their office,
Absolutely.
Reversing that rate back.
Mm-hmm.
They get zero activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Now,
believe it.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna get into a little bit of a personal story here. My mom, I retired my mom. She was working in this crazy job. She was great, phenomenal at it. Had been in it for like 25 years, and she was winning trips every year with her company. She was top nationally in everything she did, but she wasn't taking care of herself. And then she retired to take care of her mom. Her mom passed away, so she went from this incredibly stressful job, taking care of her mom passing away, and all that, right? So helped her retire, get through all that. And then she said, "What now?" I said, "We've got grandkids here." So she was still living up in Pittsburgh. So she came down. She lives with us now. In the first 30 days she was living here. Now, again, she crazy busy in her job. She was not eating real food. She was dining out a lot, right? Always. There was no home cooked meals. So she comes down here, had her walk every day, had her eating my wife's home cooked food, and got her an exercise program. Brian, in the first 30 days, now let me tell you, this is not common. You have to completely change your lifestyle to do this. So I don't want this to be the expectation, but I just want people to know what's possible. In the first 30 days, she lost 30 pounds. Just eating well and getting in a well-rounded, not a crazy exercise program, right? We're not doing like Navy SEAL stuff here, right? Just basic exercise. 30 pounds in 30 days.
Man, that's awesome. And this is at the age of
well, you're not supposed to do that for women, but we'll say she's in her 60s.
But you know what? People want to know that because I've got folks, and we've got people that are watching that are 50, 60, 70. I mean, you never know. And they want to know, hey, look, is there still some hope for me?
Yes.
And, when people hear those success stories, they're going to be more inclined to go out there and they're going to push themselves a little bit more and saying, well,
that's a good point.
If she did it, I can do it too. So I know I've changed my life a lot since 2016. I was living the American dream too, and everything was great. And then I find myself in a chair for years, and I gained a lot of weight. I was up over 300 pounds, and about, 2019, I said, no more. I got to take my life back. And then I began this 1% better every single day, and added up a bunch of these 1% to get to where I am now, at about 250 pounds, and, much lighter and thinner, and, took off all that excess weight that I put on through depression and anxiety, physical pain, eating, and living that sedentary lifestyle. And I look around now. I'm a lot more vigilant now than I used to be when it comes to health and to fitness. And to see the amount of unhealthy people that are walking among us here in the United States man, it's alarming. And then you look at the food that they're eating, and they're eating out of a box. And, with all these, genetically modified, meals and all this food, it's not even real food. I mean, they're just putting down, whatever it may be that's put together. Yeah. So it's like, so people, and, I was reading something the other day too, that you can't even go to the grocery store and try to eat healthy, because even if you do go get that banana, that apple, or some vegetables, or whatever it is, there's not enough nutrients in that food anymore, really, to feed your body, which is why I'm taking your fruit and veggie supplement,
Superfoods,
as well as the collagen as well. So I just don't know if they're growing it at a much faster rate these days because of population, or if the soil's not that good anymore. I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely a lot of nutrients that folks are lacking in this country.
Yeah, the crop rotation is not incorporated as much anymore, so it does leave the nutrient density of soil lacking. So Yes, there's a lot of factors there, and that's why I used to, back in my younger days when I first started in fitness and nutrition, say you don't need supplements, and and that's part of the idea of the brand name I Am Supplement. Supplement by definition means in addition to. So you have to start with real whole food, but then supplements are intended to fill gaps. Yes, sir. It's yeah. So very great observations there.
So where can people find your products?
So I Am Supplement. You just go to iamsups.com, iamsupps.com. HairXT is hairxt.com. Of course, you can get HairXT in HEB's beauty department if you're in Texas. And for training programs and products and stuff like that, I don't have the ebook out yet, but I'm working on it. It's bmfcoaching.com or just brandonmancini.com. Everybody here can message me here. I get back as fast as I can. I try to get back to everybody within 24 hours. Not always possible with 2 young kids running around the house, but I will get back to you as soon as I can with questions about the products and all that good stuff. But yeah,
I know
iamsups.com, hairxt.com.
I know you are a very busy man, so I do appreciate you taking the time, to sit down with me today on my very first podcast here. Hopefully we can do it again sometime in the near future. But on this note here, the final word, what would you give the folks that are listening right now? A little bit of hope, inspiration, some resilience, a little bit of perseverance. What can you leave us on, Brandon?
You have to get a clear vision of what you want to become. This is your only trip around this life. Get a clear vision of what you want to become. Surround yourself with good people that you admire. Be willing to give more than you're going to get. Yeah, that's it, man. You've got to have that clear vision. You got to surround yourself with the right people you admire. Like Brian, I admire everything I've seen and heard about you, man. Your book is fantastic. What you've done with the VA, the things you've overcome. I'm honored you'd have me on here. I will be on.
Of course. I feel the same way about you, man.
I'll be on whenever you invite me. I will do my best as long as there isn't something going on with the family. But yeah, clear vision of what you want, surround yourself with the right people, and then dig in. Years ago, I wrote an article. I called it Conviction, Condition, and Community. So convicted in what you want, be willing to condition yourself to be able to get it done, and then get a community around you that'll support you and like-minded individuals.
I love it. I love it. Like-minded individuals, having a plan, positivity, and finishing and following through. I think that's another, very important fact. There's the doers and then there's the non-doers, so you are a doer. And those are the folks that we need to get out and to motivate others, to inspire others to live their best life, right? And to get up and to live, because if they're doing well, the community's doing well, the community is doing well, the state's doing well, the state's doing well, the country's doing well. And that's where we're at right now. And that's what we need to continue to raise up as a country. Brandon Mancini is my first guest today on Tuesdays with Tally. Again, our mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people, folks. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you, sir.